Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of The Real Deal. This week, we're going to be talking about one of the common mistakes that I've seen sellers make on the market these last couple months. I've seen this before as well, but this year, I've had two clients purchase homes where sellers did this. And this is something that costs you thousands of dollars. Typically, if you're somewhere in the West Valley, like Buckeye, El Mirage, Goodyear area, they were hit up really hard with solar panel companies. These solar panel companies will put a 20-year lease on your home, or sometimes even longer, to save you money on your electricity. Now, they do save you money on electricity. However, you're not just going to have your solar panel bill. You're still typically going to have some electric bills during the hot summer months. Now, a lot of sellers have been making mistakes and thinking that they need to pay these off in order to sell their home. And that is not the case. I had a client recently that purchased a home from one of these investors, one of these OfferPad, Open Door, Zillow type companies. And the seller paid off the solar panels. So when my buyer purchased the home, it was great for my buyer, and that's what helped her make the decision to purchase that home, right? And of course, my buyer was super happy about it, and she was taken care of. But I thought about the seller, and I was like, man, that sucks. Like, this seller lost probably 20 grand from her proceeds on selling her home to this investment company, which is, I'm sure, something that they didn't even bring up to her, letting her know, hey, if you put it on the market, you can just transfer this from your name to the buyer. I've helped out plenty buyers purchase homes with solar panels that are currently actively leased. I have current buyers right now that are under contract that are buying homes with leased solar panels. It is a very common thing, and it's unfortunate sellers get taken advantage of. I have another client that just purchased a home as well. Now, this wasn't from an actual investor. This was just from an agent that probably didn't know or didn't explain that process or didn't correct her seller. From my understanding, the seller, when they had that conversation, said she was going to pay off the solar panels. And me as a listing agent, if I hear that from a seller, I'm going to say, hold on, time out. Do not pay off your solar panels. We can transfer that over to the buyer's name. Now, you might be thinking, well, won't that add more value to the house, right? Won't that give it more value? It will give it a little bit of value, not a lot. Typical solar panels are anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000, and you might get like $5,000 in value from an appraiser. Appraisers are pretty stingy when it comes to solar panels. Even like a $40,000 pool, you might get $15,000 credit, right? A solar panel is going to be even less because you got to think about it. It's new. It hasn't been around that long. And this is more of an appliance. It could break. It's like having like a nice fancy stove, right? Like a really nice fancy stove. Some of those expensive Wolf stoves or whatever those brands are. It's just not going to give you that return on investment if you pay it off. So it doesn't make sense to do it. It's very rare where that's something that you need to do. I think in my entire real estate career, not myself personally, but one of my colleagues had a situation that for whatever reason, the way that it was purchased and through some process of transfer of ownership, something was missed where the seller, in order to be able to sell the house, had to pay him off. But I'm telling you, it's extremely rare. And this comes down to just sellers that aren't educated in the process, right? They see these offers coming in from some of these investment companies. They see the quick close, they see the cash, right? And that's just not smart. You want to make sure that you talk to somebody that's going to be taking care of you, looking out for you, because these companies, at the end of the day, they're there to make money. They're taking care of themselves. And if you unfortunately got an incompetent agent that made you lose money on accident, that's just unfortunate. But so hopefully you don't make that mistake. If you know any friends or family that have solar panels leased on their properties and they're thinking about selling, have them reach out to me. We'll have a conversation to make sure that they can maximize their profits and they're not leaving any money on the table, especially in this market. It's insane. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me this week. Have a good one.